Welcome to the Sacred Designer Podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa Martin, kitchen and bath designer, entrepreneur, artist, and creative soul behind the Kitchen and Bath Digest. This is a show where we weave soulful design into every space and redefine what it means to create with intention. Here we don't just create beautiful homes, we design from the heart, embracing both the practical and spiritual. By pressing play, you'll be joining a community that creates not just for function, but for a sense of sacred space and personal alignment. On this podcast, you will learn to merge the art of design with soulful living, turning every remodeling project into a journey of self-expression and holistic beauty. This isn't just about kitchens and bathrooms, it's about embracing design as a path to a richer, more beautiful life. So let's step into this sacred designer together and create spaces that resonate with your soul. Welcome to the Sacred Designer Podcast. If you're new here, we're going to talk about the intersection of home and soul and how the spaces we create live that are never just aesthetic or functional, but they're about energy, intention, and transformation. I sit down with designers, organizers, healers, and space holders who understand our homes are mirrors. And when we shift our spaces, we shift our lives, whether you're remodeling your kitchen, or you're organizing your home, rearranging a closet, you're in the right place to believe that it's deeper than it actually looks. So today's conversation is about understanding the energetic layer beneath our physical environment and how our aura color can offer insight into the truly supports us. So I'm joined here by Helen Ye Plehn, an aura color teacher who helps people understand the energetic field that surrounds them and what it reveals about their emotional state, their identity, and current phase of life. Her work brings clarity to why we are drawn to certain colors, why some environments feel calming while others feel draining, and how our spaces can either support or disrupt our nervous system. So as a kitchen and bath designer, I see every day how these spaces interact with us at our most human moments, where they nourish us, care for us, provide restoration and reflection happen. These aren't just functional rooms, they're energetic environments we return to again and again. So this conversation is about understanding the relationship between who you are energetically and the spaces that hold you physically, and how awareness of your aura can help guide you towards environments that truly support you. So Helen, welcome. Thank you for coming to the Sacred Designer.
Thank you, Alyssa, for that beautiful introduction. I totally agree with what you just said.
I feel like there's so much more to say about you, but trying to condense it as much as possible. But for our listeners who may be new to this concept, what is an aura and what does the aura color actually represent?
Yeah, so basically aura is just the three-dimensional egg-shaped electromagnetic field around you. So just visualize an onion. I call it the energetic onions, right? Yeah. So it's round, 3D, and it's surrounding you. And everyone has such an onion. As long as you're a living being, you radiate some kind of electric and magnetic energy. And because electromagnetic field correspond with different wavelength and frequencies, thus correspond to different colors. So that's why, we call it aura colors. It's basically your energy field's color. Yeah.
Awesome. So are we born with this? And, or do they shift and move through different phases of, of your life or
Yeah, that's a great question. So there are three types of auras, as I describe in the Aura Color Wheel book. First, we call it the mood aura. Now that changes all the time. That's pretty much around your face. And you can intuitively pick it up when, someone is angry. You will say, look at his face is turning red. Or, she's a little shy because, she's like, look, she is flushing in pink or something like that. So people can, or you can, like we can intuitively pick up, oh, someone is feeling blue, right? It's like a little bit gloomy. So those are what I call the mood aura. Now, those are changing all the time. However, there's another aura color that I call the personality aura. That I call it semi-permanent because that's around your head. So if you can like kind of tuning. If you have a meditation practice on a regular basis, most people can kind of tune into that. That's semi-permanent. Why? Because it's your personality. It tells me, are you outgoing? Are you introvert? Are you analytical? Or are you intuitive? Now, those only changes when significant life event happens in your life, then, it might alter a little bit, so that's your personality aura. So the last and the most permanent of the three that you were asking, or the book or my book is describing, is called the soul aura. Now, your soul aura, no matter you believe in reincarnation or not, that's when your soul was born or coming into this body, this particular lifetime. That's the energy that it brings. So it has all the total sum of all the past life memories in this lifetime. So I would say that that's the most permanent out of the three. That means it still changes. So when it changes, it's because when you heal a wound that you haven't been healing in the past, your soul kind of recognize that, as well as learning a soul lesson, then your soul aura color mostly radiating around your heart chakra. That's where our soul resides. That's when it changes.
That's incredible. Because then that was kind of the question, because like I'm assuming emotions also have a lot to do with the changes, or it kind of sounds like, the things that are going on in your life really may influence that as well.
Yep.
And it kind of is like what your current identity is. Would you kind of say that it's correlated with that too, right? Would that make
Yes,
sense?
that's definitely true. What you're talking about is basically the different layers of the onion.
Yes.
So, yeah, because we are all power. Like this aura color, what is this electrical magnetic power, right? There is a
Yeah.
powerhouse to make this color. So that are the energy centers or the chakras. If you're familiar with the Hindu, seven chakra philosophy,
Right.
from the base of your root all the way, to the top of your crown, those are the powerhouse of your electromagnetic field. So when you mention that the outside, the life events and things, that will impact your aura, so emotion is the second aura layer. That's, powered by the sacral chakra. So that's your emotional aura layer. And then the next one is mental. The one that's closest to you, or the innermost of the onion peel, that's the physical body. So your physical health. How is your physical health right now? And that's red. And then the second aura layer is the sacral chakra, and that's your emotional state. How are you feeling currently? Happy, sad, ecstatic, or melodramatic, whatever you're feeling currently.
Yeah.
And then the next one, kind of outside a little bit, it's powered by a solar plexus chakra. It's the yellow aura layer. That's your thought, how your current mental state. What you thinking, negative, positive, automatic, or more self-aware. So those are the different layers of that same position. And we're all energy, actually, like everything that's made of energy and vibration. And that's how we can kind of diagnose what's going on in your inner state. And we're always in constant exchange with your outer state, your living environment.
That makes sense. And so like in design, for example, like I often see that people are drawn to like certain colors or
Mhm.
materials or texture. Would you say that's like an intuitive attraction with their energetic state?
Yes, that's definitely true. It's funny because this morning, literally in my membership, there's someone was sharing that she just intuitively keep picking orange and blue color jewelry. She wasn't aware of like why, and it was just sitting in her closet. She wasn't even aware. Then until she learned this system about the different color representing different chakras and different energy centers, and now she understand, oh, because I'm working on my self-expression, no wonder I'm drawn to the color blue. And then like I've been keeping orange things is because I was also healing a wound around the emotional, like my inner child. And then now it makes us so much sense that why I'm drawn into this particular color. Now when I was a kid, I also had a lot of strep throat or nose bleeding issues. At
Mhm.
the time, my favorite color is actually blue. Now, as a child, most girls like pink, and I'm the one that I say that I was drawn to blue all the time. Mom, don't buy me pink things. And of course, at the time, I didn't know, I wasn't aware, but that was the color that's almost has the healing properties that my energy knows that I need that, right? So I always joke around with my clients and students. You either need that energy to heal, that's why you're attracted to it, or you are personally radiating that energy. So that way, when you know have that particular color, it just amplify. You know, it makes you feel almost like you feel high. Woo, this is so cool. You know, like you're drawn to it. So it's like either the opposite of like I need this, or I just resonate with this.
That totally makes sense. So like, like when someone's in their home and when their home maybe like no longer feels like they're maybe reflecting it or resonating with it, it kind of sounds like either the textures or the colors are just not supporting what they need at that moment. Would
Yeah,
that be
that's
fair?
yeah, that's definitely true. When you start to feel, you know, things as you doing the introduction, as you feel like your soul is evolving, you know, maybe your aura, you know, is getting an upgrade, like having a different color in your auric field, you might naturally feel like the things that you used to drawn to, you know, or used to love, now it's kind of fading away. It's like, it doesn't feel as good as before. You know, it's something that shifted within me that, you know, I feel like I need a fresher coat of paint, or I feel like, you know, even just my bedding, I just need a new color sheets, you know, on my bed, you know, it just doesn't feel good anymore. So you intuitively know because it's, you know, inside your energetic system.
That totally makes sense. Yeah, because I believe that environments definitely can support or like even your nervous system. Is there like some signs that people can look for? Whether their space is no longer energetically aligned. Like, what should they look for? Like as
Yeah.
they're thinking through this.
Yeah, your environment, I call it that you constantly in exchange your energy in exchange with your immediate environment, no matter it's your home or your working space, right?
Okay. Yep.
So whenever you feel like you don't feel comfortable anymore, so an environment that you are in, at the minimum, it should be feeling supportive. You should feel safe and secure and supportive in that way, or at least that's like the minimum. All right, ideally it should be nourishing. So if you begin to feel either fatigue, you either have physical symptoms. I said there are four different symptoms you can look into. Physical symptoms, I feel tired, or I feel, you know, drained, like I don't feel like I belong. Like that's like one. You know, your body gives you the cue of like why you feel comfortable or not comfortable. And then the second is emotional. You know, you like, are you feeling comfortable? Are you feeling safe? Are you feeling supported? You know, like in this, like can be fully yourself. Like you're not pretending to be somebody else. That's very important, right? That's like the emotional security that you feel like you're supported. And then also mental symptoms. Like is this place that you feel calm and grounded, that you have that mental clarity, that we are on natural state of our nervous system, or when it's regulated, we are really clear of our thoughts. Or are you just like feeling like you are in kind of chaos? It's like it's your mental brain is getting a, you know, like a rest. And last is spiritually. So if you have any kind of spiritual practice, no matter it's religious or not religious, but when you are entering into a space, or you know, when you're going home, it literally feels like home, right? And then you know that that's in the center of your heart. That's when you feel in your heart, okay, this really feels like home. So that's why, you know, a lot of actually religious, you know, structures like churches, you know, sacred space, they are all built according to, you know, sacred geometric or principles of that, so that when we enter into it, our soul has the resonance with it, because that's encoded in our DNA. Our DNA, if you have a cross section, by the way, looks like the flower of life, sacred geometric.
Right.
If you just like cut our DNA open, you know, it's literally inside, you know, the blood cell, you know, everything that make up our physical, emotional, and mental body, it's part of the sacred geometric. So if that's like in alignment, you feel the resonance, you know, of it. So those are the things that I would look into. I kind of categorize them into physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual.
That totally makes sense. And yeah, initially, like when I was younger, kind of getting into, what type of work I wanted to be going into, I felt like sculpture initially was something that really spoke to me. And then all of a sudden it was architecture, and not realizing that I was just kind of the sacred geometry that was resonating with me. So that's super cool. Would you say that
Yes.
there's any like certain colors that can really affect like people, or is it more kind of on a, like a, person to person basis?
It's well, most likely it's on an individual, like soul level.
Yeah,
So that's why actually I have a quiz that you can take to identify your soul aura color on HelenCreatesBeauty.com.
love
So
it. So
that way you
cool.
kind of know, how your soul's resonance is. And also, I would say that the culture or how you were raised, like which country, what type of cultural background that
Okay.
you were raised,
Yeah.
actually has influence on what color means to you,
Yeah.
right? Just like because it's coming the Lunar New Year and I'm a feng shui master, so I'm very well aware. Everybody will say that, hey, by the way, red like the fire horse, right? Red is the lucky color. Now, however, everything is about the balance of the yin and the yang. That's a universal principle, right? So the fire horse, yes, on one goal is like it's really rapid and fiery, but at the same time, because it goes so fast, you want the energy to ground it. So you actually want to introduce more of the earth element. So like the golden yellow, the mustard yellow, the amber, the orchard, like basically a brown shade of yellow. That's the earth element to balance that rapid fire, because you want to ground the energy down rather than it going so fast, so that you make haste decisions and have this not rational actions, all of that. So it's about like kind of the balance of it. So that's why I want to introduce a little bit about you need to be aware of your culture, like what's injecting in you that might not be yours. If the whole culture says the red is the lucky color or the blue is not lucky, like then you need to you need to bring that self-awareness into, is it really good for me or is it not really? So that's another thing to kind of decipher, at a personal level or at a soul level. Do I really resonate with this color, or is it just because I have the pressure of what the whole country is saying that's what it is, right?
Yeah, I
um
feel like that's a constant struggle for everyone. They really just need to go inside and feel how it feels inside of yourself as a person on a personal level. Because,
that's right.
there are so many influences, and we're told all these kind of faulty beliefs, and some cultures are really demanding about certain things. So like that I'm glad you brought that up. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I actually just had a recent article I published with Living Etc. I can maybe pop the link for your audience. I
Yeah.
talk about the feng shui lucky colors and why those are chosen. Actually, the why is as important as just take it as it is. Yeah, this feng shui expert says XYZ. Okay, but what's the reason behind that? He or she is saying that. Now I understand the reason. Is that resonate with me? You can take it as it is, or you can just like, I will hit the pause button a second, like you can even go meditate. I'm a huge fan about meditation. And then inside you will know that, okay, so maybe this shape is exactly what especially you pick the pink color, just yellow has like at least 120 different shades, right? So which shade is your yellow? You need to figure that out as well. Yeah, so I highly recommend to have that introspection before you make a decision, especially if it is something that you are going to living with it for long term, like a house renovation project. You're going to sit with it for a few years. You're not going to change it, on a daily basis. Not as easy as clothing.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned, meditation and kind of like sitting with it and thinking about it, because I do try to make sure that my clients are going to like, really make sure that this is the space that they love, because you're right, it's going to be a repetitive daily interaction. And I feel like that like will energetically impact you long term, especially when you're, in a space and using it so oftenly. So, I mean, I think environments, using them multiple times a day is going to really affect you. So I love that you said that you should pause.
Yeah.
So
Lisa, I'm so support of what you're doing because interior designer like you, it's not only giving, aesthetically, like aesthetic beauty, but also at a deep level, like the soul resonance of what's, going to feed these homeowners energetic field. Like that's what's more important. So it's like the combination of the two. And I love your podcast name, your Sacred Designer. That's what it is. That's like going back to who we are at a soul level, because we are made up of light. That's who we are, at a soul level. We make up these onion layers of light. So for someone who understands both the principles, not only the aesthetic, the design principles, which comes from sacred geometry, but at the same time, to understand the human aspects, the psychic aspects of it, I think that's also very important.
A lot of times I feel like a conduit to the person who's trying to, because a lot of people don't know what it feels like inside of them. So I almost have to kind of experience their reactions to a lot of the materials. And I feel like that's what I was doing a lot in the beginning and not realizing it at first. But now that I'm so aware of it, I'm able to at least guide them in the right direction. And thank you. I appreciate your comments, your lovely comments. It's not always easy either. So, and shifting a little bit, do you often see aura colors shift during major life transitions, like becoming a parent or changing careers, or like if they're healing or if they're in a new phase of identity? Anything like that kind of like comes up and pops up?
Definitely. So as I mentioned, like significant life events, when that happens, that's definitely when I can see like most often that it might change. So that's your soul aura color that I'm talking about, because it will trigger an aspect of your soul to either, choose to grow or evolve or incorporating some newfound beliefs or, some pattern breaking. So whenever it has that, some aura layers is going to get either strengthened or weakened. Now, what is the total sum of the color that you're radiating is basically what's the strongest, right? The 7 aura layer, think of rainbow of light. Why some people are more in green and blue shade, some are more like orange and red shade. It's because, the green and blue are the people who has stronger, heart chakra and throat chakra. And that's the natural color they radiate, right? And then at the same time, like for example, if you have a child or healing some kind of ancestral patterning that before you think that I don't know, money has to hard earn, and now I realize that abundance is my birthright, for example. Okay, so you have that fundamentally inside of you. You have that shift. And that healing your ancestral line, you bring the red aura layer or the red color to be on board. Now it's a little bit more vibrant rather than dim or dull, so that's why, okay, now you are adding the red towards the green and the blue. So now it's the mix. You become more of a purple or violet aura color, right? So it's like, think about color mixing in probably not in CMYK, but more in RGB. So that's because that's how light kind of combine together. So eventually, when all of us, if every aura layer is nothing is dim, nothing is dull, everything is vibrant and shiny, you're becoming mostly white. When you added up the 7, rainbow of light together, your aura actually become mostly white. And because, all of us have some aura layer that are kind of stronger than the others, that's why mostly we are radiating a particular aura layer that's, we are strong of. Now, during those huge, life transitions, because it's not necessarily the event itself, it's more about the internal belief system, emotional system, or all of these that's shifting. The outside event is just a trigger. Now that, having a baby or getting pregnant or, moving or having a new relationship, all of these, yes, it from the outside, it seems like an external event, like an important life event. But from the inside, what is it really triggering you? Like if you just have the child, but nothing changes, you're still the same person, same belief system, same emotional regulation system, then you might not change as much in terms of your aura. However, so what's that? Like the same thing, the 4 layers that I mentioned, how does it change you physically? How does it change you emotionally, mentally? and spiritually. Some people even change religions, right? Or, have a different spiritual practice. Like all of these, it's what's inside of you that have those layers of changing, and that will bring about the correspondent aura layer color or the energy aura layer color. As I mentioned, like the other student was talking about healing her inner child. And once her inner child is healed, I'm sure that orange aura layer, that particular color, is no longer dim or dulled in her aura layer composition. It's going to be brighter. And once that color is brighter, you can do color mixing. Like if she was born with a J aura color, so green and orange kind of combination, you have you morph into a new color. And that's how, kind of like the color addition that's happening.
So cool. And when you mention like, big life transitions and the children, it's so funny because that's like the first thing that I can remember that really influenced me to do something like in my home was, as the term they call nesting, So I remember I'm like 4 months pregnant and like putting up a backsplash and like because I felt as though, it needed to be perfect and I feel like a lot of women go through that, but
Definitely. Oh, it changes me. Actually, that was my when my baby was born, my daughter was born is the year that I started my own business. Actually, that the first version of the business is the interior design, the feng shui interior design business. And that's when my daughter was born that I need to like I cannot, do this 9 to 5 job anymore. And I'm like, okay, I need a new schedule and on my own terms, doing the things that I love and making money on the way. So that was like a huge, internal, conversation that I'm having. So that's like on the external, on the outside, the living space, of course, I need a home office, the color has to reflect it. That's actually when we did a round of renovation as well. So
yeah, totally makes sense. Because I would assume, like, especially when someone goes through that, they, really should do something to kind of help support it and to kind of
yes.
stabilize that new embodiment of that phase of their life.
Totally. Yeah. Just like you mentioned at the introduction, is every time I call it like this is the Helen 5.0. Okay. I call it whenever you have a, upgrade or like your identity has a shift, upgrade, or whatever you want to call it, like the change. That's because you kind of quantum jump into a version of you that's already, in that vibrational level. And whenever that happens, it's a good time already, to do a round of either renovation or, some kind of change in your environment that's reflecting what's going on internally, even just like pick up a serious hobby that I do not have that before, right? You need a space for it, for example, like anything that's kind of happening internally, you want your environment, you want your living environment to support you.
So would you say like different aura colors or quite honestly different souls tend to feel more supported by certain color palettes? And I think that would make sense. But also not only color palettes, but like lighting or spatial qualities that they should consider. Like are there different things like that support one more than the other?
So inside the aura color wheel system, there are 36 soul aura colors and 9 soul gift archetypes. Now, inside the 9 soul gift archetypes, I noticed that the archetypes that are towards more of the green and blue spectrum, so like jade, turquoise, teal, that type of quality, they tend to like spatial space, like they like bigger or wider or like more spaciousness in general because that they feel safe and secure more, like towards the cool side or the cool tones of soul aura color or that particular archetype, like healers are particularly. That's why they need environment to support them, right? And they tend to also prefer cooler lighting. So if you see the Kelvin temperature, they prefer actually. That's where how the nervous system calm down. Now, very interestingly, if you're going towards the other soul gift archetypes like the artist, the entertainer, the warrior, they are generally radiating more of the red, orange, color spectrum in the warmer tone of color spectrum. they generally prefer warmer lighting, towards Kelvin temperature, the warmer numbers as well. And interesting enough is that they want the spatial quality a little bit tighter. They want intimacy. They want like it feels like cozy. That's like you want it to be smaller. You don't want it to be so vast, and so that's more contemplative. But for the souls who are radiating, that violet, blue, and jade, like green aura colors, they prefer. Like I want space. I don't want the intimacy. It feels intense to me. So that's kind of the interesting thing, like what you literally energetic radiate does tell you, like, okay, it feels like that's my preference, right? So it does affect things. Now, as I mentioned, the yin and the yang, the opposite.
Yep.
So that's what you normally like naturally radiate. It's almost like it's like kind of at home of yourself. That's how you are. But for a soul that's undergo an intensive healing, phases, no matter it's emotionally, physically, mentally, they might want the opposite. That's a very interesting thing, because sometimes it's like if you're radiating this, that just means that you don't have as much of this. And that's the color, the red, the orange are the blue and green people that actually need. And when they're going through that healing, what is healing? Healing is just like, I want all spectrum of light. I want the 7 rainbow of light all in me, so you become white. That's what actually healing looks like energetically. So for those who are naturally radiating blue and green, cooler spectrum, they actually, when they are working on inner child healing, ancestral healing, they intensely need the orange, the red, the pink, even the heart chakra. They want all of these in their field. And that's when they're like, oh, I'm not, I'm naturally how I am. But now, because I'm going through these intensive, healing phases, they started to crave that warmer color. Now my preference becomes, I actually want that, right? Like I'm going to change, I'm going to change at least the bed, like the color that you choose to make your bed is already like the beginning, because that's your security net. And then you can see, and then they become, the personal preferences become more of the opposite. So as I mentioned at the beginning, either you need that to heal, or you need that to kind of, resonate with what you're radiating, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. And to bedding, I mean, as I was growing up, I always had something that was kind of like a dusty, warm blue. And then now it's like on the orange side, and which is, because I've made some dramatic changes since I was younger. But yeah, that's interesting what you kind of gravitate towards. So, but would you say like there's one sign that their space is supporting them versus not? Like, you said like the body was a really good indication. Is there any other kind of indications that they might know, like, is this supporting me? Like, what would someone do to kind of
know whether, this environment, literally your feeling, like, are you feel good? Like you walk into an environment, are you feeling really good? Like even just an empty house, empty space, in feng shui, that. And it's funny, I mean, in China, we even bring a baby, anybody's baby, in the house, like we'll just bring it to the new home. And babies are so intuitive. Immediately, this baby either cry or smile or started to explore and crawling all over the place. If the baby feels comfortable, feels good, that's the natural human instinct. You start to explore. Oh, I want to check out this. I want to check out that. And the other one feels more contracting. Like if it doesn't support you, it feels more contracting, not opening. And in the baby situation, it cries immediately. So if we know that it's a house is like good for you or not, that's actually in feng shui practice. That's how we still do it in China. It's like you bring the baby and then right? So that's like use your almost like childlike intuition or instinct. You walk into a space, whether you feel really good. And safety and security, those are the key indications. Like, do you feel completely safe, secure, and relaxed? So in that perspective, it's more about the emotional aura layer. Like, do you like really feeling good right here, right? Besides your body, it's your emotion. Like, what is your mental state? Like, are you completely calm and relaxed? or are you kind of like going everywhere, right? Because it's your home, just like you said, it's a sacred space. You need to feel sacred. That's how you feel. That's what the feel good, factor that comes in.
Absolutely. And like it's so funny because I say that too. Like it has to be your feel good color. And so many times like a partner's looking to each other and you have to kind of find that in between. And sometimes I even take colors that they have and try to blend them to like so it's interesting, like have you ever dealt with that? Like trying to like blend each other's auras? Like have you ever
Yes,
dealt with
yes.
that before?
It's very interesting. Yes, yes. Actually, I'm doing a statistical analysis of all the people who have taken the course that are couples. I even provide like a complimentary report. It's
Oh,
almost like,
cool.
like, yeah. Because after you see so many data, it's very interesting to see your partner, in life, if you're having together like a long term, it's either you are in the opposite, aura color wheel spectrum. You're basically radiating the different color. It's where because that's the opposite attract factor, right? You don't have that, and I need that to kind of balance me almost. There's one type, and the other type is they are analogous, like they are almost in the color wheel, like next to each other or right next to each other. Now, this type of relationship or compatibility is almost like we're vibing together, like they're the good friends. They are like good friends. The other one, when it's kind of opposite, it's like you console each other. Like if you feel bad, you're like, oh, I want some comfort and all that. Go to the other one to get the comfort. And when you're like kind of together, like when you are, next to each other in terms of aura color, you feel like they are more of the, the friendship. Like, okay, I totally understand you. I totally get you because that's exactly how I feel. So that's kind of what the couples or like long-term relationship that reflects, right? So, on that note, I personally, like if I were to design a home that's that's good for both, I actually would like to check out their feng shui birth element and guan number.
Yep.
So that's a great indication of like are both of your lucky directions towards love, abundance, health, and spiritual growth, are they compatible? Are they both the west system or the east system? That's like getting into a feng shui a little bit, but that's really helpful to kind of understand, from their birth or their soul's birth elements perspective. Is it kind of is it the same, or if not, like for example, like me and my husband is pretty good because I was born with water element. My husband was born with wood element, and color and soul aura color wise, I'm tangerine and he's sapphire. So it's literally one orange, one blue. We are the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Now, because water nurtures wood, like this element, it's a pretty good composition. So it's pretty for this house. Basically you design with a lot of water and wood element. That's nurturing for both for this couple, right? And basically orange and blue. Then occasionally, my mom stays in our house. Now, the interesting thing is that's when you need to know that you need to introduce a new element. My mom is actually a fire element. So I fly with my mom.
Sounds like bringing my mom into the house.
Exactly. So it's like water and fire. Think of it, okay? So know that it's like, yuck, right? So that's when you know that, okay, I need to introduce something in the middle that's going to be, like, for example, if you and your husband, one is water, one is fire, it doesn't mean that, okay, you cannot live together like forever, right? You can still. But what would happen is that I highly recommend to introduce the wood element. So that's why my husband is always the middleman. Because if one is fire, one is water. Water nurtures wood and wood nurtures fire. So that makes that kind of it's like the remedy of like making the the destructive cycle into a productive one. That's how we designers to to add this element. And now I know, okay, for that couple, in order to be harmonized and all that, of course the color, their soul aura color is important. That's why I take the quiz, right? But at the same time, now I know that introducing this particular element, now I'm going to put wood, making sure that pretty much in every space there is a wood element. So wood, besides the the actual plan of wood, right? If that material is made from solid wood, if the color is green and brown, if the shape is rectangle, those are all like wood element symbols, right? So it doesn't have to be the actual plan every single room, right? So you kind of understand, okay, that's how it's all about the balance, right? It's all about the no matter the environment support you, your partner or not, it's all about we want that balance on holistic state rather than one side, and like more of these and less of that. And that's why also healing is the same thing. It's like you don't have enough of these, that's why you need that, so it's
Yeah.
not like you want to dispel all of it. So that's a little bit of the the art of intuition that comes in as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, by the way, so if people who have purchased the Aura Color Wheel book, I'm giving out a personalized feng shui birth element and gua number reading. So you can literally like just put in your birth information, then you will understand what is your birth element and also what is your gua number. Now that gua number is different than Western numerology. It's basically a system that we use in Bazi reading. So if you know Chinese feng shui, it's a Bazi reading. Before the feng shui consultant design your home, which direction is good for you or not, they always do a birth reading for you to understand, because for one soul, it's a feng shui house, and for the other soul, this particular house might not be beneficial for him or her. So it really depends on, there is not like one size fits all. It really depends on what's your number and resonance with it. So it would be a good information for you to kind of know, okay, so those are the 4 lucky directions for health, love, abundance, and spiritual growth. Now I know, how to design my home that's more in harmony of my energy rather than, just aesthetically.
Yeah, there's just so many things that kind of coincide together. It's just kind of like creating this nice harmony and, getting all the parts and pieces kind of aligned properly. With so much to take in. Well, I think that's
why
beautiful.
they need to find a designer like you.
Yeah, that's why they need a designer. That's why they
Here
need
we go.
people like us,
Exactly. Otherwise, we don't have a job.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I would love to do a fire round. Have you
Okay.
done fire round before?
I think so, a couple times, but because depending on the question, it's
Okay.
like every time is a little bit different. But I'm glad to. I'm
Okay.
okay with going with the flow. Yeah.
Yep, just
So,
quick, intuitive, whatever comes. So a color
okay.
that feels universally supportive.
Turquoise blue.
That's funny. You were glowing that earlier. One sign someone's energy has outgrown their space.
He or she doesn't like the environment anymore.
Okay. A room that mostly reflects someone's energetic state.
Everything from color to object to space layout reflect an aspect of their soul.
Beautiful. One environmental shift that creates instant calm.
Lighting. Dim
Okay.
your lighting into more natural, like being with nature, basically.
Yeah. Okay. A material or element that feels grounding.
Earth.
Okay.
Crystals.
Crystals. Yes, I love crystals. Something people hold on to that affects their energy.
Things they no longer use that they thought that they might use it one day.
Or I was thinking about this the other day that or things that people were like gifted and they feel like they shouldn't get rid of. I think those kind of hold some interesting energies too. A
Yeah.
daily ritual that strengthens energetic alignment.
Meditation and visualize a golden ray of light washing over you like a cascade of waterfall. I'm literally doing it right now
Oh, I
from the
love that.
head to the toe.
Yeah,
And that's it.
beautiful. A quality every supportive home should offer.
Love.
Oh, I like that. One word you hope people feel in their home.
Supportive.
Love that. One intention you want listeners to take with them.
You are made of light.
Yes, we are light beings. Helen, thank you so much for sharing your insight and your perspective today. What I love most about what this conversation is how it brings awareness to something people often feel but don't always have the language for.
Mm.
And our homes are not separate from us, but extensions of our energy. And for anyone listening, I hope this episode invited you and your space with you for your more awareness. Your home doesn't need to be perfect, but it should support who you are and who you are becoming. When your environment aligns with your energy, it becomes more than just a place you live in. It becomes a space that restores you, grounds you, and supports your evolution. So, Helen, where can your listeners connect with you and learn more about your work?
Definitely. All my offerings are on helencreatesbeauty.com. As I mentioned, I offer 3 bonuses for people who have purchased the Aura Color Wheel book. You get the personalized feng shui, birth element, and gua number reading, as well as joining a private Facebook group. You can ask me questions there. And lastly, I give out $50 off for the Rainbow Aura Meditation Bundle. And in that particular bundle, it's all original solfeggio frequency music designed to raise your vibe. So just playing them as a background music, you will feel the resonance of it. So yeah, check out my offerings. It's all on helencreatesbeauty.com. And I also have a membership that we meet monthly on a regular basis that we can, talk about how you can evolve into the X.0 for your next version.
Amazing and incredible. Thank you again so much.
Thank you, Alisa. Oh, lastly, I have also a podcast, and it's actually live every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So if you happen to be around, it's live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and then every Tuesday you can listen to Apple Podcasts and Amazon Music and Spotify. It's called the Aura Evolution Podcast. Since
Okay.
we are on your podcast, might as well let
Yeah,
people know.
heck yeah. Wonderful. Okay, thank you so much again.
Thank you, Alisa.
Sacred listeners, it's Alyssa Martin. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. But guess what? We're going to be at school. That's right, SKOOL. There we're going to have a free community where there's all the tools and checklists and things of that nature to help you get your remodel done in alignment. But guess what? We're also going to have the design lounge where you get one-on-one access to me. So go to school, check out the link in the show notes, and check it out. I'll see you guys next time on this Here's the Sacred Designer. Thank you.